We're gonna build a double drive cedar gate. You guys have been asking for us for a long time. This gate is gonna go right here. It's gonna have 2 leaves and they're gonna open out. These posts, we set these here yesterday. There was an old chain link double drive gate going across here. So what we did is we dug them out, set new posts. We're gonna have just 1 4-foot leaf here, 1 4-foot leaf here, and we're gonna show you how to build it. So we wanna set them just a little bit high so that way the gates can open across the concrete pad, because we don't want to make it so low that the gates are dragging. I want to figure out what the concrete's doing, and it's sloping towards the street. See if it's level. It's pretty close. And I'm just trying to figure this out for how tall my post needs to be, because I'm going to cut these posts. They're running wild right now. I'm gonna cut them to height. And for ice and snow, I think I'm gonna make it 2 inches taller. So normally it would be 66 inches tall, and I'm gonna make it 68. That way we'll have a 2-inch swing clearance. We need to put our nailer strips on. So we need to put our strip on here and our strip on there on each side. All right, so now what we're gonna do, since we have that on there, we can go ahead and put our face picket on this way. So we need a picket that is 5 inches. We need another picket that is this one. Just because we have a gap here at the house, I think we're gonna go ahead and use a full picket. I'm gonna re-dog-ear the top here. And we kind of cheated, and the way that we cheated is we drew a line on the saw when it's at a 45. All we gotta do is bump that picket up to the line, set the saw at a 45, and then no measuring, no nothing. 6 inches above the post. And that's where I got my 6-inch block. So we're gonna put that there. Now we're gonna go ahead and nail this one on, but there again, I need my block. Perfect. And our rails need to go at the very top, 27 inches to the top of the middle rail, and then 54 inches to the top of the bottom rail. Take those measurements, mark them the same over here, and that's measuring from the top of the post. That's not measuring from the top of the picket. We'll take all 3 measurements, and we have 92, 92, 92 and 1/8. So we got just a little bit wider at the bottom somehow. So 92, 92, 92 and 1/8. Our rails come in 8-foot lengths, so I'm gonna be able to use 1 rail for each stringer. So I obviously cut these down off camera already. So I'm pretty lucky by having the advantage of being able to use 1 rail. If I had to use 2 different rails because I expanded beyond 8 feet, what I would do is I'd use a center support, like another 2x4, and I would take both rails, I'd meet in the middle, use this as a support, and screw them in from the backside so that way I could access the screws once I got my gates made to take the center support back off. I want to double check. I just want to make sure that we're not going to have an opening issue. I think we're going to be just fine. If we were really slanted, being a double drive gate, this one coming downhill, this one coming uphill, this one's going to gain elevation as it opens. This one's going to lose elevation and start dragging into the concrete. But I don't think that's going to happen because we still have our 2 inches there, which is why I gave a little bit more room there because it is a double drive. So we're gonna take our 3-inch screws. We're gonna go in from the backside here. We need to be able to access these screws to take them back out after the gate's made. The best thing to do for building cedar gates is to build them in place. And that still includes double drives. It's not permanent. It just has to hold the rail in place for now. We got to make sure that we can access these screws to take them back out. So that's why we're not putting them on the other side where the pickets go. Now on this side of the gate, what we need to do is we need to find center. So we have 92, so 45 is 90, 46 is 92. Measure the other way, make sure we're correct. We are. So this is gonna mark our center, but we need to take off a little bit there for the latch. I like to give myself 1 inch for my latch. And if you don't, the hardware that sticks out, the fasteners, they tend to rub on each other and get a little bit of a sticking gate. Okay, so I marked my inch there. I took a 1/2 inch out each direction. We were 46 inches to the center. We're 45 and a half because I took a 1/2 inch out each direction for the compensation of the latch. And real quick, I'm just gonna draw my lines up and down. And that is where the end of one gate is. Here's my next mark. Take my pencil, transfer that line. And if you guys are looking for an awesome pencil and you guys are tired of those wood ones, let me show you this thing. It comes with its own little holster, so it fits in your nice little True Work pants. Real nice, just like that. This little thing right here, yeah, that's a built-in sharpener. I don't have to get out a pocket knife. These things are awesome. See the link below. We have our gap. We're right at 1 inch. 1 inch, perfect. So now what we can do is we can grab 2 more full-length 2x4s. We need to do our bracing material first before we start putting our pickets on. So I was getting ready to start marking out my bracing material, and I was gonna take it all the way to the bottom here, but then I remembered one thing. I'm not gonna use the traditional strap hinge that I normally use. I'm gonna use a T-hinge. And the reason that I'm gonna use a T-hinge is because these gates are on just single posts. If they have a little bit of sag or if they tend to fall down just a little bit, I want the homeowner to be able to adjust them so that way they're always functionable. So I need to compensate for that. And my gap, let's plan for like a 3/4, I think. 3/4 inch. And that's right where the toe of our brace is gonna stop. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. It always helps to know what hardware you're gonna use so you can plan accordingly. Okay, everything looks good there. So I'm gonna take my pencil, I'm gonna transfer that line. And then I'm gonna write B on this one for bottom, T on that one for top. I'm not gonna mark that one yet because I don't wanna get these parts and pieces confused. So I'm gonna go cut this one, install it, cut that one, install it. We're gonna carry that on. I wanna make sure I don't exceed that mark. Oh, no. Well, the crack didn't go all the way through. I think I'm still able to use it. Yeah, it's just very minor. So the other thing that we can do is I'm gonna do this on the picket covered side. As long as they're not poking out the backside, that's fine. And I'm doing this on the side that the pickets are gonna cover those screw holes up. So everything's nice and clean. Again, we're gonna transfer that 3/4 inch mark down there. We're gonna repeat the process that we just did again on this side. So we got our braces installed both directions, and it's just like making trusses. If you can see, we got our compression there. So now that we got that done, we're gonna go ahead and start installing our pickets. Since it's a gate opening, I could just put a picket, have a sliver. The sliver is not ideal. It's gonna be an eyesore. So therefore, what I'm gonna choose to do, I'm gonna take a measurement of what I have. I have 45.5. We took off 3/4 at the bottom. So I actually have 44.25. So I'm taking 44.25 and I'm trying to figure out how many pickets I can have to rip them all down to exact size to make it look just nice and seamless. That's my preferred way of how to do it. Yes, it does take more time, but you have a better end result. 5 inches. So we need 9 pickets at 5 inches. So we're gonna shave a 1/2 inch off of each picket. And this side should be exactly the same. So we're gonna need 18 pickets at 5 inches. Oh, just barely by the skin on my chinny chin chin. Here we go. We're playing for keeps now. We got our little bump board up here, and I'm going to choose to start at the leading edge of the gate. I want to start on the top, and I'm going to start high, and I want to make sure that my first picket is level. Check this down here. And we're also going to nail our brace going down. We got to make sure to have that 1 inch there for our latch. So I like to start there so that way I'm not working towards my gap. And if my gap is off or if my math was off, I want to be able to take it out of my hinge side, not my latch side, where you're always going to be walking through and paying the most attention to. There we go. Now nothing can move. I want a little bit bigger of a gap here. So I'm at 5 1/4 and my picot's 5, so I'm gonna take just a sliver off, just a little bit more, 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go down to 4 1/2. So I bet you that's gonna have to happen on that side too. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip that down right now. So I'm still gonna end up with a slightly narrower picket at the end, but not a sliver. But there again, but I would rather have it over here than over there. So obviously you can see that we nailed along the actual rails. So we hit all 3 rails, 1, 2, and 3, top, middle, bottom. We also nailed along the brace as well. The screws that we put in to hold this up, we need to go ahead and go around to the back side, take those out. I'm gonna go pull the screw out of this one. I'm gonna pull the screw out of that one. I'm gonna leave the screw in the middle. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust the spacing here to match. I'm gonna screw the hinge in place so that way we don't have to drop it. We unhang it, rehang it. It's a lot of wasted nonsense. Pull the top one off. Pull the bottom one off. I think I'm gonna leave that side in so that way I can put these hinges on. I could have just used the reciprocating saw for the whole thing, but this thing kind of tears splinters into the cedar. So as you can see, it just kind of tears it apart more than the circular saw does. We're just gonna go ahead and go just like that. We're gonna screw this bad mamma jamma off. So I put a screw here, 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 and a couple in the end as well. So now typically what we use is we use a strap hinge, which looks like this. And this is how we would install it. Well, now I have a problem. My hinge point is here. I need to go beyond, but there's a structure here and I can't do that. So that's why we're using a T-hinge on this one. And we might run into a problem here in a second. Right back here, we have a trident post. Yep, right there. We're gonna drill a hole here. We're gonna make this hole bigger. We're gonna through bolt through that postmaster post and put the nuts on the back side. So before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and screw this off. Angle the screws towards the meat of the 2x4. Oh, hey. How's it going? I'm trying to put the nuts on. Okay, here we go. See, the cameraman has a sense of humor today. Everything that we just did on that post, we're gonna do to this post to get the hinges on, and then we're gonna cut the gates free. So this is the last screw that we have to pull out. Now all the screws are pulled out. We have the hinges holding everything in place. So what we need to do is we need to cut this middle part out. I want to be free. Now we got some really nice well hung, misadjusted gates. Misadjusted because we gotta set the screws and whatnot. So you can kind of see how everything dropped. And that's because we had to widen the hinges. We're just gonna go ahead and set everything right now. And actually, I could just cheat and lift the gate up. Now we're gonna lift up this one. And we're gonna pull this one in. And we still want that inch in there too, so. Oh, it's looking good. And that is the nice thing about these hinges, is being able to adjust them. Actually having this stainless all thread right here to the point where you can adjust it and pivot your gate one way or the other, it's a huge advantage. They do cost a little bit more than the strap hinge, obviously, but obviously you're getting something in return. You're getting the ability for adjustment. Score, there we go. Right now I'm just making sure that the gate is fully functional. Make sure everything aligns properly. Oh, which it does. I think what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make this one the stationary and make this one the fully functioning one. So we are going to need a drop rod. I've got an exciting drop rod to show you. What we're going to do for a drop rod is we're going to use these galvanized brackets. They're actually for chain link, and we're going to go ahead and screw them on like so. And we're going to use an actual chain link drop rod. It's going to be a lot more sturdy and structural than just that little one that you see down here. So it's going to offer more support. 3 3/8. There we go. And I realized for the drop rod and the latch, I really should have installed a little bit of extra framing here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now we have something to actually mount our latch to. We need to line this up with the 2x4 on the other side, because that's where our striker is gonna land on. I think we're gonna go there. Perfect. And we got a tiny little split there. That's why we always try to pre-drill as much as possible, because cedar is softwood. We don't need the drop rod fork. We're trying to salvage the handle. So we're cutting it here. We'll cut off this side, and then we'll use the handle and then the actual drop rod to lock this gate in place. Then once it's all done, come back with the little grinder, smooth it out so there's no sharp edges here. So it is obviously a really big drop rod, but it's going to be very stout though too. So I took a piece of 1 5/8 pipe and I smashed the end of it. So I don't want dirt to go up there, so that way the drop rod can recess down into this piece of pipe. And that is the old pipe from the old drop rod full of dirt. And what we need to do right now is figure out where these two gates are in line at, which it should be right at face of concrete. And I'm just bringing the gate over to make sure that I'm driving straight. We're good to go ahead and do our catch here. And as you can see earlier, we were talking about, I mentioned how I like to give about 1 inch room here. You can see how much room this latch takes up, and that is a good reason that I like to give myself so much room. You don't want to be this far in the process and split out a picket and have to replace a picket all of a sudden. So here we're just going to go ahead and use this block, and we'll put this one down here. And really it's just to go ahead and attach the handle to. It's nothing more than that. There's nothing that says that you can't run it all the way up, trim it out really nice. This is just what I'm doing for this because I already did it on the other side, which we did need it on the other side. We needed it all the way up. This is just for the handle. I think it's plenty. And it's what I had for scrap. And then that way they can always be in control of the gate. I almost forgot the anti-sag, of course. My bad. I'm putting it on right now. I got this. It's just an anti-sag kit. And if it were somehow to sag, you could actually pull tension on this by turning the turnbuckle and lifting the gate back up. Compression, tension brace, tension, compression. Oh, drop rod. This is a lot more of an aggressive drop rod. I wanted to be able to control the whole entire gate instead of just the lower portion of the gate. You can go with just this standard black cane bolt. What happens in a windstorm is if you're anchored here and not all the way up, your gate can wobble like this, and then that's how you can break a gate. How cool is that? It's a solid drop rod, latching into a piece of pipe, and by using this style, the homeowner can also put a padlock through here. It's Dan with SWI. We are your favorite neighborhood fence company. We hope you have a good dang day.